Hello, everybody. We're just waiting for a few more people to join, and then we will go ahead and get started in about 4 minutes. All right, so it's looking like we've got a lot of people in already. So welcome to our new parent webinar. We are so excited to see everybody this evening. Our goal behind this is that we want you to feel as prepared as possible for the upcoming summer and just our rules and things and activities and all sorts of fun stuff. So we're here to address areas in which we can get the most questions and answer any questions you may have regarding camp. Just a few housekeeping items. Please keep yourselves on mute throughout the evening. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to type them into the chat box and we will have a Q&A session to answer them at the end of the presentation. If we're not able to get to your question this evening, that is totally, sometimes it happens and we will follow up with you tomorrow. You'll want to switch into speaker view during the presentation for the best viewing. And please be sure to change your name on your device to reflect your own name so we know who all is here. And it looks like most people have done that. Just for a few introductions, my name is Catherine Lamel, and I am the director of Keystone Camp. This is my fourth summer on the director team, but really it's my 28th summer here at camp because I was born and raised here and I truly just have a lovely time hanging out with everybody. We also have Allison Hillstrom, our associate director, here with us this evening. Allison is in charge of staffing, and this will be her third summer here at camp. We have Jessica, our equestrian director. She is an incredible wealth of knowledge about our horseback riding program, and you'll be hearing from her this evening. This is her 19th summer as our equestrian director, but she has over 20 years of experience at our barn specifically. We also have Stacy, our administrative director, and this is her fifth summer here at Keystone, and you'll hear from her as well. And then finally, last but not least, we have Kendall Thomas here. She is our director of programming, so all of the fun, exciting things that we do, all of our surprises that you get throughout the summer, that is going to be All credit to Kendall, and this will also be her third summer here at camp, which is really exciting. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to kick it over to Allison to talk about opening and closing days.
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the daily schedule and then how that like goes through during opening and closing day. So first things first, every morning we wake up at 7:30. It may seem super early, but I promise that you are going to be super excited to start every day. And when that bell goes off, it's going to be like joyful, not like an alarm clock. After we get up, we do our morning chores, get everything organized for the day, put on your best outfit, and then we're gonna have flag in the morning. After flag, we have breakfast, most important meal of the day. We have so many options at breakfast, including like hot options, sometimes like pancakes or French toast, super amazing stuff. And then we also have bagels and, you know, jelly and like all the good stuff on the side. So breakfast, amazing. After breakfast, we head over to assembly. Assembly is where we hear any important announcements. So sometimes you'll hear about trips, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. But we also sing a lot of camp songs. If we have any parents who went to camp, I'm sure you have your favorite camp songs. We do so many of those really classic camp songs, and this is like where the girls learn them from the older girls, which is super, super fun. After assembly, we move on to kind of the big chunk of our day, which is our activities. Our activities, we have 7 periods a day, so you get to choose your own activities, which is amazing. So if you want to spend your morning playing tennis, you can. And you can also do arts and crafts, and you can do ceramics, and you can do all these other things. So that's super fun. So after your first few activities of the day, we have lunch, and we'll be hungry by then, I promise. And lunch, we have all sorts of options. We always have a salad bar, we always have a sandwich bar, and then a hot option as well. After lunch, we have rest hour. Rest hour, best hour, I say. At that point, we need a little quiet time. We've been so busy all day. So we move on to rest hour, where we go back to our cabins and we sit on our beds and we can either take a nap, read our books, journal, write letters home. That's also when we get our mail. So if your parents, grandparents, whoever are going to write you a letter, that's when you get to read it and respond to them. Super fun. After rest hour, if you haven't been to camp before, this is a crazy time because we'll ring the bell and the girls will come stampeding out of their cabins because it's tuck. If you don't know, tuck is basically we get our snack time. So we have all sorts of really good snacks to eat. Exciting time. So after tuck, we move on to more activities. A lot of the afternoon activities tend to be those things that take place during like the heat of the day. It's so hot out, so we have like swimming, kayaking, or maybe you need the AC and you want to do textiles, whatever you want to do. It's all your choice. After that, we have free time, free swim. So if you didn't get enough swimming in during the afternoon, you can do some swimming or hang out with friends, play some gaga ball, whatever you feel like doing. After free time, we have dinner, also a great meal. After dinner, we have our evening program. Evening programs, so fun, so many options. We have some really high energy evening programs, and then we also have some like more artistic style ones. After our evening program, we do taps on the hill, also a super classic camp tradition. And then we have something that's like a staggered bedtime. So if you're on the younger side, you might go to bed a little bit earlier, but then when you get older, you kind of graduate to going to bed a little bit later. We sign up for activities on the first day of camp. So you get to choose those activities. And if you're like, get into the week and you're like, I really thought I would enjoy canoeing, but I would rather do swimming that period instead, you can change your activities. We do it twice during the first week and then once a week after that. So if you need to like switch things up, then that can totally happen. Key camp's a little bit different, but that's kind of special topic. Besides that, so that's kind of like every day at camp besides like opening, closing day, except for Sundays. Sundays are a little bit different. On Sunday, we get to sleep in, wear our PJs to breakfast, have a nice like slow morning. After that, we have morning campfire. One of the fun things about morning campfire is our CITs, so our counselors in training who used to be campers will come and like read a story, teach us a fun lesson, super fun. Then you get a little bit of a choice period. So, you kind of get to decide what to do with your morning. And then during the afternoon, we have kind of a themed activity. Sometimes it's been like medieval themed or Renaissance themed or Wild West themed. Oftentimes there are llamas there, etc. Lots of fun. And then finally, we end the day with our evening campfire, which, you get awards and we kind of like end the day in a traditional way. And that's pretty much our schedule.
Allison, can you briefly touch on flag and describe that a little bit more? What it is? What is flag raising versus flag lowering?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the day is when we raise the flag. We kind of gather around, we take attendance during that time. So just make sure everybody's down from their cabins. Sometimes they're not, but that's kind of when we're kind of gauging who all is there ready for breakfast. We have our campers raise and lower the flag. So that's something like once you have gone to camp for a number of years and you're one of our leaders in training, you get to raise the flag, which is super cool. We also have some of our younger girls help out and be part of that color guard, which is awesome as well. And we say the Pledge of Allegiance, which is a nice way to start the day. And then in the evening, before we go to dinner, it's kind of the reverse of that. We also take attendance and then our girls take down the flag. This is something that Catherine's grandfather started because he was a military man, which is cool that we kind of have continued that tradition on till now.
Awesome. Thank you, Allison.
Yeah.
We're going to take a glimpse into a day at Keystone, and Stacy Race is going to be playing our highlights video. So if you aren't in speaker view currently, now is the time to get into that mode.
Free as a bird in the sky, that is what you are. Breathe and you know you're alive. Feel the beat of your heart. Well, life is a crazy way of turning everything upside down. So move with the time that you have. The world will keep spinning round. Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep chasing the sunshine and go out and play.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stacy. Now we're gonna head over and Kendall is going to talk about all things activities.
All right. Hello, everyone. Um, so here at Keystone, we have about 30 activities that campers get to choose from. And so it's really fun and exciting because the campers are the ones choosing. And all activities have all different age groups in them. So you're playing and learning across all age groups. So as for activities, we have everything from creative arts, we have jewelry making, ceramics, textiles, all the way until really active activities like rock climbing, canoeing, team sports, volleyball, really anything you can think of. Um, so we also have a progression for skill building, which is really fun. So it encourages campers to learn some skills that they can take home. It's called our levels system, and campers get to work up through our levels in each activity. Um, and that gets announced at Sunday evening campfire, as Allison mentioned earlier, and they get some recognition for all of their hard work throughout the week. Um, so most activities are open to campers of all ages. The only exception is for key campers. Some activities have some rules around that, and that's just because of safety with smaller campers and equipment. So just some examples of that would be archery. The bows are a little big. Um, that is all I have for activities.
So I want to speak a little bit about our horseback riding program activity. It's probably one of the most popular activities here at camp. We have a program that focuses mainly on the forward hunter seat style of riding in an English saddle. We do have several Western horses available as well. Some of our school horses we actually own ourselves. I'm here year round and run an off-season program as well. So we own a lot of the horses here. The ones that we bring in for the summer to fill the rest of the spots, we have anywhere between 20 to 25 horses on property for our program. Those horses that we bring in are either privately owned leases. We have a really great relationship with several university programs. University of South Carolina, their NCEA team. We had a really good relationship with St. Andrews University. We actually ended up acquiring some of their horses from their program this past year on a permanent basis. So it's really nice because our horses have an educational background. So the horses that we use in our program, I go through a rigorous process of making sure that they have been in a riding program throughout the year, that they have a background very similar to the type of riding that we have here. So it's really nice to have those type of horses in our camp program. So the girls get to come to the barn every day for activities. We pride ourselves very much that our horseback riding program is a very comprehensive and educational program, all while having fun at the same time. But we want our campers to leave here as accomplished horsewomen and not just riders. So we have another part of our program we call horsemanship. It's a add on to the activities that we do here, and it's a hands-on approach. So it's not a riding class, but the girls get to learn everything about horses that they don't get to learn about while they're on their backs. So for example, they learn how to groom horses, saddle horses. We even go over basics of horse first aid and learning how to take care of a horse if we were to buy one. So it's a really great program for the girls that want to learn everything about horses that they can. So our outdoor program and our trips programs are really popular too. I'm going to send that over to Allison and she can give you guys a little bit more information on those.
Amazing. Thank you, Jessica. So one of my favorite aspects of camp is the opportunity to go off of camp once in a while and go on trips with your friends. Amazing. What could be better than that? So some of our trips include we have cabins go on tubing trips. We have a nice calm section of the French Broad near us. which is super fun to go as a cabin, some cabin bonding time with your counselors. So every cabin gets to go on one of those, which is super fun. And then we also do campouts. Those occur on camp property. We have some really nice camp out shelters up, like maybe it will feel like quite the hike, but relatively close to camp, which is super fun. You get to do a camp out with your cabin, cook up some hamburgers, hot dogs, or vegetarian options if that is your preference. Make some s'mores. Who doesn't like a good s'more? All of the fun things. Another super fun trip that we go on is we go to Sliding Rock, which is it's a waterfall, but it also acts as a natural water slide. Nothing better than that. Plus, I guess what makes it even better is we also go to Dolly's, which is maybe the best ice cream place around. So we go down this awesome waterfall, and then we go get amazing ice cream afterwards. Pretty fun, if you ask me. So every girl at camp gets the opportunity to go on trips. Some of those, like the ones I just mentioned, are ones that are kind of scheduled for you into your day. But we also have girls have the opportunity to sign up for some optional trips. So some of those trips can be kind of hardcore. We've got rock climbing, we've got kayaking, hiking, overnight backpacking trips, some super fun things. Some of those can be like skill-based or age-based, just based on, like a really hard rock climbing trip, might be a little bit more like, okay, you have to be a little bit more advanced to go on that trip. But we also have just like some fun stuff offered as well, including just like outings to swimming holes, super fun. Kind of some lower class like canoeing trips, nature trips. A highlight for a lot of people is our Pickles on the Parkway trip, where you go up to the Blue Ridge Parkway, admire like the best view ever, and try a bunch of pickles. We get like all different varieties. Some might be a little spicy, some are like classic dill pickles. Super fun, amazing. We also do like reading and hammocking trips or arts and crafts trips. Maybe you'll do a nice painting of a landscape, etc. So kind of the world is your oyster for these trips. We are so lucky to be in such a wonderful area. We've got Pisgah National Forest right by us. We've got DuPont right by us, and of course the Blue Ridge Parkway. So, one of my favorite things is the trips, and I encourage all of you that come to camp to try out a trip. It's super fun. I'm going to pass it on to Kendall, who's going to talk a little bit about our evening programs and some other special days around camp.
Awesome. Thank you. So as Allison mentioned earlier when she was going through our daily schedule, every night there's an evening program that happens after dinner and before bedtime, so kind of a fun way to end the day. Um, Everyone has their favorite evening program. Mine is Sliding Rock and Dolly's. I think that's the most fun one. But some other popular ones that everyone loves are Granny's Candy, a movie night, Gold Rush. There's really a lot. Some of them are kind of chill, some of them are really active. So there's one for everyone. So here we also have teams. We have 4 teams. Um, Earth, Fire, Wind, and Water. Wind team is the best. That's the one I'm on. Um, but once you get sorted into a team, you stay on that team throughout your whole time at Keystone. And we also have some team-based games, which are really fun. Those can kind of tie into evening programs too. So for example, Gold Rush is a team-based evening program that we do. So that's really fun. We also have team games day at the end of the session, which is kind of like a big field day where all the teams kind of do fun games and compete. And a winner is announced at the end of that. It's really fun. Everyone dresses up in their team colors. It's a whole day. Um, that's just one example of kind of a fun special day we have during a session at camp. But we also, of course, during July, we have the 4th of July, which is a whole day of fun themed activities. And we also have Christmas in July, which we actually coined that term here at Keystone, which is super fun fact. And so every year in July, we celebrate Christmas in July. We have a whole fun day full of themed things. I think Catherine is gonna tell us about the dining hall.
Absolutely. And I'll also plug in that actually, Earth is the best team, so just so you know, I mean, let the record reflect all of the Earth wins on the board, you know. So just putting it out there. I don't see any fire, and I don't see any wins on there. And you're on mute, so you can't argue with me. So. Anyways, we're gonna talk about the dining hall. We do get a little competitive about here around here, but it's all good. Um, we always have a hot menu item at every meal, so that is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We serve cafeteria style, so that means that each cabin, because we sit as cabins for our meal times, will go up one by one, and you'll get your plate from the serving line. And it'll have kind of what you would like on it. For example, if we are talking about spaghetti night, which is the very first night of camp, we've got plain noodles. We've got noodles with a meat sauce if you like to eat meat. And then we also have noodles with a plain marinara sauce. And so you really have a lot of choice and you can do what works for you. If that isn't your vibe, we also have a sandwich bar and a salad bar that you can use to supplement if you're just not feeling whatever is being offered. At breakfast time, that changes into like a yogurt and granola and fruit bar. And then we also have cereals that you can eat and bagels, which is always a lot of fun. Um, we can accommodate most dietary restrictions. It is just very important that when you are talking about and uploading all of your forms, that if there are any allergies, we really need to know those. So peanut allergies, tree nuts, sesame, etc., dairy, eggs, what you name it. If there's an allergy to that, we definitely want to know. Um, if you have any questions about the dining hall, we can talk about that at the Q&A portion. But for now, I'm going to pass it back to Kendall, for our cabin life.
All right. So cabins are awesome. Cabins are places to unwind after the day, make friends, play games, create community, really good opportunity to really get to know the people that you're in a cabin with. Um, So we aim to have 8 to 12 campers in a cabin with 2 to 3 counselors. We try to keep the ratio 4 campers to 1 counselor. And in the cabins, campers are grouped by grade. Sometimes we'll mix a grade like third and fourth graders, but we try to keep those age groups as clear as possible in the cabins. Um, we have no more than 3 or so friends from the same school in a cabin. So really encouraging to make some new friends, meet some people you would have never met before if you hadn't come to camp. Um, in our cabins, we actually have bathrooms and showers, which is really fun. So you don't have to like go to an outhouse to be able to go to the bathroom when it's dark outside. So I think that's a really good thing to think about. Um, and in the cabins, counselors have kind of a room off to the side to sleep in, but they are sleeping in the same cabin as the campers. Um, we have chores in the morning before breakfast, and we try to teach campers kind of about some basic responsibilities. The counselors will normally set up a chore wheel to kind of delegate those tasks in the morning. Um, and they're just things like sweeping, taking out the trash, and they can be made really fun because we also have CDs with music in the cabins, and it can turn into a whole dance party if you guys want. Um, that's all I have for cabin life. I'm gonna pass it to Stacy.
Awesome. Thank you, Kendall. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about what makes Key Camp a little bit different than our regular sessions. Key Camp is our 6-day introductory session for campers who are currently in kindergarten through second grade this school year. It's meant to be sort of a soft launch of the camp experience so that they can come enjoy all of the aspects of being at camp and then go home soon after some of that anxiety might start to kick in at the end of the week where it's like, oh, I've been here for a while now. I'm kind of ready to go home. Most of the activities that are offered during this session are the same as what all of our other campers or older campers are able to do. There are a few activities that we don't offer to key campers purely out of safety reasons, whether that be something like riflery or archery, simply because they are still so small and those are activities are a bit harder to manage when there are lots of small kids running around and not as many adults up there as you would have, for instance, during like our mother-daughter weekend. That also our key campers don't necessarily do high ropes or zip line because they don't usually meet the weight requirements for that because they also just can't reach some of the elements. So those are a few things that we don't offer to those key campers, but they're things to look forward to as they grow up and age into a regular session. And we'll talk a little bit more about mother-daughter here in a little while, and that's a great opportunity to get to experience some of those activities with mom. Um, we also, for the session, because it is shorter, we do encourage parents and family to send letters via snail mail ahead of time. So you won't know your cabin name until you arrive at camp, but that's okay. We're really small. We know where you're going to be. So you just send that letter addressed to your camper, and then our tuck mom who helps us out in each session, she will collect them and hold on to them so that we can equally distribute them throughout your camper session. And they're guaranteed to have mail because sometimes the post office can be really slow and we don't always receive them in time for the campers to get them. And it's really important to note for sessions in general, but particularly for Key Camp, that the last mail day, the last time they get mail is at rest hour on Thursday. So make sure that if you're mailing something that it's gonna get here on Wednesday so that it's got plenty of time. We'll also have an opportunity for you to drop things off on opening day discreetly. You can slide it right over to me or to the nurse there at drop off, and we'll take care of that and make sure that it gets distributed evenly throughout their session. There's also some important aspects to think about for our key campers in coming, and that because it is for our youngest campers and we are offering lots of opportunities for independence at camp, but it's important that campers have some of those essentials under their belt already before they come to camp. So it's really important to practice things like picking out their own outfit, or maybe you might want to pre-pack those outfits, pick them out together at home, put them in Ziploc bags labeled with each day, brushing hair, brushing teeth, some of those basic skills that they need to be able to do independently here at camp. It's a great opportunity to start now and practice all the way so that they are experts when they come to camp at it. But don't worry if they have really long or really thick or really curly hair, our counselors will help them wash their hair. We can do that in the sink, but it's ideal that they kind of get a start to it because it's difficult to do that for all of the campers in a cabin. We also have a guidebook that's specific to Key Camp, which if you are already enrolled for summer 2026, you will be receiving one in the mail in December. You'll also have access to that in your Camp in Touch account. And then if you were to sign up later, you'll get it sent to you when you sign up, and it's available every year. So even if you're not coming in 2026, you'll have it if your camper is going to be that age in 2027. So that just kind of helps get to know a little bit about what makes Key Camp so fun and individual and unique to those campers. So let's see. I think that's everything I've got for Key Camp. So I am going to toss that over back to Catherine to talk a little bit about our history.
Yeah, absolutely. So Keystone Camp was founded in 1916 by Fannie Holt and Florence Ellis. One of my fun facts is that Florence Ellis is actually my great 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 aunt. So I am the fifth generation of the same family to own and direct Keystone Camp. It is something that I'm very proud of, and it's something that we talk about a lot, but I love to introduce myself because it really helps set the image of this is really who I am and who we are is it's not just about kind of doing camp and then saying goodbye. It's about that longevity, that tradition. And we have some camp families who have been with us the entire time. So we've got great grandmothers who have been at camp and now their great granddaughters are going to camp. It is a really cool opportunity to see that history trickle down from family to family. I even like to talk about how we have sisters who are coming to camp at the same time. Their older sister started going to camp, and then we've got younger sisters. We've got little Catherine Phillips in our Zoom, just to call her out a little bit. But her older sister, Charlotte, has been going to camp, and so it's been really fun, and we're super excited to have her coming to camp. What's really cool about Keystone specifically is that one of our biggest missions is empowering girls to be able to do and really have the idea that they can do anything that they set their minds to. One of the ways that we do this is that we are very intentional about hiring an all-female staff. So when you go to another camp, you might see male staff leading kayaking or rock climbing, and we work really hard here to make sure that we are hiring female staff members to be able to go to an activity and our campers can say, okay, that can be me. I can be doing that one day. And that's one of the goals, and that's what we really strive for here. Um, Being a Keystone Girl means that you are a part of a larger community. You are a part of Keystone, and you do that. You're a part of the Keystone community from day one, and that continues on no matter how many years you come to camp. It could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 20, like Jessica. And no matter what, you are part of this community and you will be forever. So that's my little spiel about camp and why I love it so much and why it is so powerful for everybody who steps foot on this property. And I will pass it to Jessica to talk about our infirmary.
So we have a really awesome infirmary here at camp. We take the health and wellness of our campers very seriously, and by doing so, I think that has created a lot of trust in our parents of our campers that have come to camp in the past. So just a little bit about our infirmary. We keep 2 registered nurses on site 24/7. They actually stay here at camp in our infirmary here on the property. A few things about them and the infirmary program that you should know. Our nurses dispense all medications, and all medications are kept in the infirmary. There's information that comes out about those medications and how you send those to camp later on. That's information that will be given to you if camp is in your future. We do have a local doctor. We call her our camp doc that makes camp calls whenever we need her. She's probably less than a mile from our property here in town. And the hospital, goodness forbid if that ever is needed, is only about 10 minutes away from here at camp. There is a really good communication system that we have set up with our nurses. For example, some of the things that you might hear from them when they reach out. If your child has been feeling under the weather and our nurses think that it would be helpful for them to see our camp doc, if that decision has been made, we will give you a call and decide that if it's something that needs to be seen here on site or if they need to be transported to her doctor's office here in town. You'll hear from the nurses at the conclusion of any visit with the doctor, whether that's here on site in our infirmary or in the office. You might hear from our nurses if your child has come in the middle of the night and maybe not been feeling well, or if they're a little run down, have any type of symptoms that our nurses feel like would warrant a night spent in the infirmary, you'll be hearing from our nurses prior to that. Anytime that our nurses have even the slightest question on any medication or treatment that your child might be given, they make sure to reach out to you for situations like that. If your child is injured in an activity while they're at camp, that's a warranted camp nurse phone call home. And then, of course, if your child has an allergic reaction, whether in the dining hall or outside or for any reason, that is warranted a phone call home as well. I can't say enough great things about our infirmary program and the nurses that we have here on staff. They definitely work hard, and we very much appreciate them being here. So just to talk a little bit about our staffing, is our staffing director, Allison. I'm going to switch that over to you.
Amazing. Thanks, Jessica. Yeah, I think one of my favorite things to talk about at camp is our staff, because obviously, like, camp is fun and like there's so many activities, but how does all of this stuff happen? It's because we have a really awesome staff. And as has already been mentioned, we have an all-female staff so that girls have people to look up to and really feel comfortable with wherever they are at camp, whether that's at the rock climbing wall or in their cabin. To touch on that ratio again, we have a 4-to-1 ratio overall, campers to staff. So that means that in your cabin, you're gonna really get to know your counselors really well. They're not gonna have like one counselor and like 15 kids and they're gonna be like, crazy all the time. You're gonna have that like one-on-one attention that's really nice and fun. You get to like really get to know your counselors that way. On average, we have about 60% of staff that have been campers in the past. That was just about the statistic last year. And what's really cool about that is that, like, we're a super old camp, as Catherine mentioned already. We have so many traditions that have been passed down for generations and generations. And so our campers are able to kind of build up and become those staff members who carry on those traditions. We have a really awesome leadership program in camp. So as you get older through camp, you get to kind of become more, like, have more of a role in daily camp activities and operations and all of that, and really kind of give back to the community, which is super awesome. And then I'm going to turn it over to Stacy now.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how communication with your camper works here at camp. So there's a couple of ways that you can stay in touch with your camper when she is here. We utilize a system called CampMinder. That is our software system that we use to manage everything. The parent side of that is called Camp in Touch, and that's where you will log in to see a wide variety of things all related to camp. It's where you'll take care of financials. It's where you'll see all the paperwork when it's time to do that. It's where you will also see photos and then also be able to utilize our email system. And it's called e-letters. And essentially what happens is you can log in, you can go and craft an email to your camper or campers if you have siblings here, and it will send it off into the system. We get notifications. I go in every day around lunchtime and I print them out, and they get delivered to your camper with the regular mail every day after lunch right before rest hour, Monday through Saturday. Sunday is the only day that we don't do mail here at camp. You can also choose to click a little box that says you would like a handwritten reply. And what that does is it also adds a blank response sheet that has whoever the email is from, their name, as well as a barcode that's specific to that email address, or that user, for example. And the camper will receive that blank sheet of paper. They can write out their response to you. And I go over how the whole system works at lunch on the first day of camp. They learn where to drop that off. They have to put it in there by dinner, and then myself and my assistant go collect them, scan them into the system, and off they go into your inbox around 6:30 every evening, Monday through Saturday. It's a great way to stay in touch with your camper. You can also do good old-fashioned snail mail. As I said earlier, you would learn the name of your camper's cabin on opening day, but even if you don't remember it, it's okay. Just send it off anyway. We've got the list. Our Tuck moms have the list, and they'll know whose cabin to put that letter in. Although, like I said, you do want to make sure you're sending those in advance because sometimes it can be a bit slow here in Western North Carolina, and it does take time for those letters to arrive here at camp. Campers can also send snail mail home. They also learn how to do that. So we highly recommend sending some pre-addressed and stamped envelopes and stationery with your camper. But if they run out, don't worry, they can come down to the tuck shop during afternoon tuck and purchase whatever they might need from the tuck mom. We also will do photos. We have a photographer here at camp throughout the summer. They will take as many photos as they humanly can, upload the very best of those, and those will upload into the system. We try to do it about twice a day. Usually we try to do it around rest hour and then again after evening program. Sometimes we might be a little bit off in those time frames, but we do our best to upload photos twice a day. And you can also utilize what we call Companion. That is Campminder's mobile app for here on your mobile phone or your iPad or whatever device you're using. You can download that. It's the same login information as your Camp and Touch account, but it does give you the ability to upload a training photo. And that allows the system to then use identification stuff to pick out your daughter from all of the different faces in photos and put them into a specific little area for you so that you can see just photos of your camper and don't have to sift through the couple of hundred photos that you might see in an album each day. So we highly recommend doing that. You'll want to be sure that you do that before camp starts because it is not retroactive. So if you're already signed up for summer 2026, you'll learn much more about that in the spring. And then we'll go kind of from there and we'll send out reminders too. But it's a great way to do photos. You can also do emails through that Companion system. And then we're also here available via phone and email if there's any emergency. But those are the ways that you would stay in touch with your camper during the summer. I do want to touch on our package policy. We are a no package policy camp. So that means please leave all of those fun little toys, fun little snacks, the little candy or pieces of gum you might sneak in there at home. We do ask that it just be letters and notes that you're sending to your camper. Care packages can get extremely competitive. It can be really hard for campers who might not be getting any. And so we do ask that you don't send any of those to camp. You can send regular letters. We do screen all the packages that arrive. So if you forget, it's not a huge deal. We'll simply open it with your camper. If there's a note, she'll be able to take that. And then we'll hold on to the box until the end of camp and she'll be able to take it home with her. And it's important to share that with friends and family, grandparents, aunts and uncles who might do that as well. Sometimes they just don't know and will inadvertently send something. Don't worry about if your camper runs out of something or, is there something they might need? They can always come to the tuck shop or always come to the office and we can help get it for them if it's absolutely necessary that they have that item. And we can find it locally and we just add that into your tuck account and we settle up at the end of camp. All right. I am going to move into talking a little bit about our mother-daughter weekends. Those are amazingly fun, fantastic experiences for moms and daughters to come together and participate in May. They happen pre-summer. We offer 2 of them. They will be this year May 8th through the 10th and May 15th through the 17th. There is information up on our website about those dates and costs and what it includes. Registration will open January 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So mark those calendars. If you are already in our system, you have already received at least 1 email regarding that. If you haven't and would like to, feel free to reach out via email, office@keystonecamp.com, and I'll get you added to that list. Our mother-daughter weekends, you'll arrive on Friday afternoon. We generally open registration around 4 o'clock, and then we'll kick off with a getting to know you time period, afternoon snacks, dinner, and then an evening program. Saturday runs just like a typical day, like a camper does. So you'll sign up for activities, you'll travel together as a pair, and then you'll go from activity to activity all throughout the day. We'll finish up with dinner and another really fun evening program. And then on Sunday morning, we'll have breakfast together, have a few more activity periods, and then finish up the weekend with brunch. There are so many different things to choose from. You'll live in cabins, just like your daughter will at camp with a couple other families. And it's a great opportunity to kind of feel it out and see how your camper and you enjoy camp and whether it's the best fit for you guys. So, if you have any questions about that, we're always happy to answer them, excuse me. And like I said, be sure to get in on registration as that we do fill very quickly for our mother-daughter weekends in January. All right. I am going to kick it back over to Catherine. We're going to go into our Q&A session now.
Yeah, absolutely. So the chat is open. Feel free to drop a question. Yeah. Stacey's going to drop her the office at keystonecamp.com email and our phone number also in the chat. So if you aren't seeing anything, that is a-okay. Or if you think of something later, totally fine. Okay. So we've got one great question here. How does laundry work at camp? Fantastic question. So we offer a towel service every single day. Each camper gets one towel. It is fresh, it is clean, it is dry. We do have a towel on the packing list as well. And that's just for, they get one towel to do their showering with, and then another towel for lake trips and that kind of thing. So that way you don't dry off at the lake and then you have to use the wet towel to dry off from your shower as well. We also do cabin laundry once a week. So everybody's laundry gets put into two bags, the light clothes and then the dark clothes. And then you take it down to a specific bin where it gets washed and dried. It is washed with a dye-free, scent-free soap in one of our kind of industrial washers. It then gets put back in the bag, and then the bag is washed as well. And then it is sorted amongst the cabin after it is all nice and dry. And that includes sheets and everything. So we make sure that everybody gets a new set of clothes. So that way, if you come to our 3-week or a 4-week session, you don't have to pack 3 weeks worth of clothes. You can just pack 1 week, and it usually ends up pretty great. Sweet. Any other questions? Okay. What if I've never been on a horse before? Jessica, take it away.
What a great question. We have lots of different levels of horses here at camp. We have very, very safe beginner horses that are used to having girls that have never ridden a horse that may be a little bit nervous. And like I said before, we take a lot of time before camp even begins to adequately make sure that our horses are assigned to skill levels that are appropriate for them. So if you've never been on a horse before, just know that we have several older horses that have a lot of experience in mounts that in the girls that don't have a lot of experience. We have a really famous pony named Miss Mary Legs that has been here for years and years and years. She is smaller, so a lot of times just size is intimidating for girls that have never been on horses before. So we have a lot of smaller horses and smaller ponies to kind of take that anxiety away as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Sure.
Here's another great one. Can I be in a cabin with my friend? Kind of depends. So we, like Kendall said, we do have a limit of 3 kind of from the same area. So within that limit, as long as you add your friend to your, we've got these little things that you fill out close to when camp starts, forms will open, and honestly, you can fill it out at any time, but it's a bunk request form, and we do our very best to make sure that everybody gets at least one friend. And we do our best to kind of make sure that that works out. Stacey, Kendall, Allison, do you have anything you would like to add to that? All good? Okay, fabulous. Another great question. Will I be able to see my sister? She's in the third grade and I'm in the fifth grade. Absolutely. So our activities are not necessarily age restricted beyond the key camp restrictions. Those are restricted. And for some of the other ones like kayaking, we have like a level requirement that you have to get to. But, if you want to take rock climbing with your sister, you're more than welcome to do that. Or if you want to take slide with your sister, you are more than welcome to do that as well. We also have free time at the end of the day that Allison was talking about, and that's almost a whole hour of just unstructured time. So you can go play tennis, you can go play badminton, you can hang out on the green and read books together. There's lots of opportunities for you to hang out with your friends. Allison, here's a question for you. Let's talk about the difference between elf, pixie, and dryad bedtimes.
Yeah, great question. So, our elves go to bed at 9 p.m., which, I don't know what time you guys are going to bed right now, but you'll want to go to bed at 9 p.m. I know I do during the summer. But and then it's just staggered from there. Pixies, who are a little bit older, if you don't know the lingo yet, those guys go to bed at 9:30, and then our dryads, who are our oldest girls, have a lights out time of 10:30. A little bit more about bedtime. We like to do circle time, which is kind of like as a cabin, we get to reflect on our day. We do like rosebud thorn or high-low buffalo, which is kind of a way to be like, what's the highlight? What's maybe something that you're not looking forward to or you are looking forward to, etc. That's when we do like showers. Sometimes if you're lucky, you might get to take a lake shower, super fun, lake bath. Maybe go down the slide if your counselor's a lifeguard, fun. I was gonna say something else too. Oh, and you get flashlight time. So if you're like, I really want to finish this chapter of my book before I go to sleep, you get a little bit of time to use your flashlight, catch up on your reading before you hit the hay.
Fantastic. Another great question. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna handle this one offline, but I will appreciate it. Let me go. I've got another one. Have no fear. Do. How old are people in the older group? Great question. Seventh grade plus. And this is the grade that you are currently in. All right. Kendall, you were our homesickness expert last summer. So talk about what happens if a camper gets homesick.
Awesome. So pretty common. I dealt with it a good bit last summer. Um, Normally what happens is the counselors are kind of in on the conversation, and they can kind of come up with a few kind of things to help the camper with the homesickness issue. Um, if those aren't really helping, last summer I was the head counselor, and someone else will be the head counselor next summer. And that's a great person that the counselors can go to for some extra help and guidance. Um, if what they're doing is just kind of not doing the trick. Um, some of my favorite things that I was able to pull out were countdown things until you get to go home, writing extra letters to your family, taking a walk. And those are just a few of the things that I found. So there's plenty of things that you can do to help deal with that. And there's plenty of people here that can help to kind of carry those out with the campers.
Wonderful. We do have a swim test here. This is just something to consider. We have a swim lake and we require the kids to jump in and kind of fully immerse their heads so that way we can see that they can bring their head back up. After they jump in, they swim one whole lap of our lake and then we ask that they tread water for 1 minute. And that's just so we know that if they go off the slide and maybe they like their breath catches or something, we know that they're able to make it back to the side. Or, if they fall in or something, if for whatever reason they don't pass the swim test, that is a-okay. We have a system for making sure that those folks are identified in kind of a subtle way, and they can still participate in all of our activities that involve water. We just have them wear a life jacket at all times. All right. So, if there are no further questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. It was so great chatting with you guys and talking with everybody. We really hope to see you at Keystone soon. Please consider joining us for our mother-daughter weekends, as Stacy mentioned. And if you're ready to sign up for camp, head over to our website to submit your application. We currently have space for our younger campers in our June, July, Mini 1, August, and Key Yellow sessions. Stacey will drop the link in the chat box for the dates and rates page to our website where you can find specific information regarding availabilities in each session. It does kind of change on a day-to-day basis. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out either via phone or email. Thank you so much for your time and joining us this evening. I hope you have a great night. Bye!